Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Bay State Golf Podcast. I am your host, Sean Melia. Thanks, as always, for joining. Today's topic is we're going to talk about one golf course that I think you should visit in each region of the state. I have divided the state up into some different regions. No idea if these are what everyone else would break them up into, but that's what we're doing. We've got 7 different regions. Looking forward to talking about some new golf courses that I have played. As always, these are courses only that I have stepped foot on and hit a golf shot on since 2020 when I began my quest. Very quickly, before we get into those golf courses and jumping around the state, just a request to rate, review, subscribe wherever you're listening to or watching this podcast. It's a huge help. And if you want to see some of the videos and pictures, you can check out the YouTube channel where I kind of drop in some footage of the different golf courses as I talk about them. And then the last thing, please subscribe to my newsletter. It comes out every Friday. I write a little essay. I kind of compile all the stuff I've done over the course of the week and share it on a Friday morning. Also have some links in there of things I've read, some podcasts I've listened to, music I'm listening to, books I've read, food I've eaten and enjoyed, what I'm drinking, whatever else I kind of enjoyed from the week, my Friday favorites. So please subscribe to that. You can find that at baystategolf.beehiiv.com. Beehiiv is BEEHIIV.com. It's a huge help, and it's a nice way for you to get all my stuff in one place on a Friday morning. Kill some time before you jump into your workday, or just kill some time on the weekend. All right, let's jump into my one golf course per region. We went public golf this week, as usual. Try to shout out some places that I have liked. I have tried in this list to come up with some places that I haven't spoken about yet. In some cases, they are courses I have talked about. But for the most part, trying to mix it up, trying to give you all some new places to check out. It is the end of March right now, and people are excited to go play golf. Maybe in your mind you're thinking, I'm going to hop in a car and drive for an hour to a different part of Massachusetts and play a new golf course. So you can do that. Also, make sure to check out my weekend trips podcast that I did last week. It's also on YouTube, but I put together a few trips that you could take throughout New England if you're feeling very adventurous and you want to take a weekend or an overnight trip and go play some golf in some different parts of New England. Okay, so my regions, I'm going to break them down here, and then we're just going to go through, and I'm going to share one golf course per region. I've got the Metro West. I've got Central Mass. I've got a course in the city. I've got a course on the South Shore, south of the city. I've got one course on the Cape. I've got one course in Central Mass. And then I've got one course that is in the North Shore, north of the city area. So we're going to bounce around the state a little bit, and I might give some honorable mentions because it's hard to just talk about one or hard to just shout out one, especially in some of these sections where I've played a lot of golf. So let's just start with where I grew up. Metro West area. I think this is the Metro West. It's some people have told me that Butterbrook is in Central Mass. I don't completely buy that. It's a 40-minute drive for me from Boston. I grew up in Acton. Never once did I really think I was in Central Mass or living in Central Mass. So I'm going to give you Butterbrook as my first choice in the Metro West area. There's a few other good ones, but Butterbrook is a place that if I wasn't on my quest and I was still living in Charlestown, would be a golf course I would play regularly. It was a course before the quest I did play regularly and would happily drive out there, find a time. When I was a teacher, I had the luxury of having free time during the week. Some people would argue that I still have free time during the week, and your argument would be pretty accurate, but this was no work to be done. And I could go and kind of make a tee time whenever I wanted without any sort of responsibilities. And Butterbrook was one of the courses I really liked going and playing. Obviously, I grew up there, so the drive was comfortable, easy. I knew where I was going. I knew it was in the area. But the golf course is very, very good. It's tree lined. It's challenging. I know that some people would love to see the greens just be a little bit faster, the pace of play be a little bit faster. But it's a course that offers a lot of different shots. You play the first 11 holes through some trees. You're playing kind of around some dog legs. You play 3 par 5s on the front, along with 3 par 3s on the front and 3 par 4s on the front. So it's kind of an interesting setup. I don't think you play, I think after the 6th hole, you don't play a par 4 until the 10th hole. So there's some kind of interesting routing. It's not distracting, and I think it's a very good golf course. Then you play 12 through 18. 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 play completely differently. They're in open land. There's kind of waste area separating the holes, and 15 feels like you're playing a little bit of Florida golf, and 16 is a great par 5 that typically plays downwind, and it's a nice one to play downwind because then you get 17 downwind and 18. Once you make that turn on 16, you're heading straight towards the clubhouse, and it's just a spot that I really like playing. It's got a good range. In the last year, I think one complaint was the price was a little high, especially Friday afternoons and the weekends, which I detailed in another video about value. But if you play this place during the week, it's a pretty good price. You can walk for pretty cheap. And the other kind of piece of the value part was the 3rd hole for the last year was under construction, so it was closed completely. You just drove from the 2nd tee box to or 2nd green to the 4th tee box, and then once you finished the 9th hole on the golf course, you would drive and play a short hole that was basically the replacement hole of the 3rd, and it was at the back of the range. It used to be a little practice area that I loved when I was really kind of grinding and wanting some place to practice. The little chipping green at the back of the range was great. Had short grass. You could hit like 30-yard shots. It was typically pretty quiet back there, and that became a par 3, and people thought they were kind of getting gypped a little bit, not getting a kind of 18 full holes. But it seems like when I played there in October, the 3rd hole was completely just about done, and the grass was going to start growing. So I would imagine that this spring it will be a fully open 18-hole golf course. As an extra plug, I am also hosting an event there with Jordan from F&3P. We are inviting people to come and play a 2-man aggregate on May 30th, which is a Thursday. Tee time starting at 10, so it's not a shotgun start. Take a Thursday afternoon, skip out of work, play some golf, meet a bunch of new people. You can sign up with a partner, or we can kind of pair you up if you are a single and just looking to meet some new people and play some golf. So 2-man net aggregate at Butterbrook, going to be great. Please go and sign up for that. And I will add the link in the description of this, and you can also find it on my Instagram page, baystate_golf. So Butterbrook, Metro West, go play it. I'm going to give a little shout out to Sandy Burr, which I've talked about. Shaker Hills, maybe closer to the Central Mass part, Shaker Hills wise, but Sandy Burr is another really good option that if I had a little bit of free time during the week living in Boston, that's kind of another place if I wasn't on my quest that I'd try to sneak out and play during quieter times of the week when it's dry, because it can get a little bit soggy out there. But Metro West, Butterbrook, go check it out. Let's go to Central Mass, officially Central Mass, and I want to talk about Kettlebrook, a golf course that another thing I was thinking about as I was doing this list was, what are some courses that as I'm writing them down, I'm thinking I would love to go play it again this summer. Maybe I won't have time to, maybe I'll have to go play a place to check off. But Kettlebrook in Paxton is just west of Worcester, and it is a really fun, I don't really love using the word fun, but it's a really good, interesting, challenging golf course. The only time I played it was in November. It was very cold. I didn't get to take many pictures because I could barely feel my hands, and I had the FootJoy winter gloves on. I was just trying to stay warm, not really that interested in taking a bunch of pictures, just trying to get it around and see the golf course. So that's a place I would love to go back and play on a good warm day or just a normal summer fall day. We finished in the dark. We played 17 and 18 with headlamps and just kind of hoping we could find our golf balls. So I would love to go back and play Kettlebrook. It is big, it's brawny, it's a little bit like Butterbrook in the sense that you play kind of a cycle of there's 11 holes, and the 12th hole is a par 3 right by the clubhouse that if you've never been there before, you'd think that it could be the 18th hole. It's really kind of central, in a central location as you're walking to the golf course and going to pay and going to the first tee. You just walk by this par 3 that's a long one, big carry, forced carry, but it's not. It's the 12th hole, and then 13 through 18, you got to go across the parking lot. 13 is maybe the signature hole on the course, at least visually. It has a kind of a barn off to the left. It's a drivable par 4, and you got the road. It's a little bit risk reward if you really want to go for it, but just a really good, strong golf course. It's owned by the same people as Wachusett, so it hosts the Worcester County Am. So I don't know when that is. It's usually early July. That might be a really good time to go and play Wachusett when it's just been dialed up, maybe a touch for some of the best amateurs in the state who play there every year at Kettlebrook. So in the Central, go check out Kettlebrook. Some other ones that I would love to get back and see again. I liked Blissful Meadows. I don't know why necessarily when I think back on it, but I liked the greens a lot. I thought the back nine was particularly good. So Blissful Meadows would be another little shout out for the Central Mass folks. All right, let's talk about in the city. Not a lot of choices here, and I thought I got to put a stake in the ground. And if I'm kind of going to go back and play a place, or if I've got someone in town and I want them to experience New England golf, George Wright is the place I bring them. If I am playing 10 rounds and I'm breaking them up between George Wright and Franklin Park, I'm probably playing Franklin Park 6, maybe 7 times to George Wright's 3. George Wright is an ass kicker. It's very challenging, a bunch of blind tee shots, and it's just harder than Franklin Park. But if I'm gonna get one round in, if I'm just looking at tee sheets, George Wright is probably the place I'm gonna want to go play if I'm trying to sharpen my game, get a little test, or if I've got someone out of town who has never really played New England golf and wants to go play. It's likely the course that I'm gonna go to first and check tee times, and then Franklin Park, a very close second. I love Franklin Park. I'm trying to qualify for the Mass Am at Franklin Park, so it's a place that I'm hoping brings me some good luck, and maybe this is the karma will come and slap me in the face, and I won't shoot a good score there. But I've had people, particularly we had a family friend up from Texas. She plays at Bowdoin, and she had never played New England golf, and she was looking at colleges and actually had already settled on playing at Bowdoin, and that's where I took her to play. It kind of blew her mind coming from Texas and just playing very different golf out there. So George Wright is my city choice. Franklin Park is a close second. If you want to, I don't know if people count Fresh Pond or not, but that would be the third out of that if I was going to power rank them for one round. Let's go south of the city. So many options. I realized looking at my map that I have built and is on my website that I've really played a good cluster of golf courses that are, within 45 minutes of where I live. And there's a slew of them on the South Shore. I tend to try to play the South Shore courses in the spring. I made it a point last year and even the year before. Friday mornings, I would try to get up, go play somewhere early on a Friday so I could avoid traffic getting down there, and then maybe come back in the middle of the day and not sit on 93 coming home. So I've played a bunch down there. This is another one that I would really like to get back to and play again. And again, I'm only talking about ones I've played. So there might be places that in your mind that you're running through that you're thinking, why is this not on the list? Why has he not talked about this golf course? If I haven't played it, it doesn't make the list. Crosswinds is my choice. Crosswinds has 27 holes. Crosswinds has incredible value. It's affordable. You can play all 27 in a day. I did. I played it on a rainy, dreary day, June of 2021. So I'm going on 3 years since playing there. I will be back there this year, playing it in July in our second Half Swing Series event with FN3P. And that is on July 18th. So I'll be down there playing that day. I'm excited to tee it up and go play 18, maybe sneak in an emergency 9 on whichever course I don't play. It's just a really strong set of holes. It was even for the rain, it was in good shape. I think it's always in good shape. When you compare it to Waverly Oaks, which I also think is very good, and Pine Hills, which I have not played on the Quest. I've played it, but I haven't been to Pine Hills in, I believe, 5 or 6 years. I have not played on the Quest, and maybe so it's at least since 2019. I don't really feel a draw to go back and play Pine Hills, which I think maybe says something about the golf course. I know that people really like Pine Hills for the experience of feeling like you're a member and the attention and the facilities. I understand all of that, but I'm not particularly drawn to look at tee times a week in advance and go play Pine Hills. Maybe it's because it's low-hanging fruit. It's an easy place to get to for me. I can wake up in the morning and be down there pretty quickly. I remember in 2017, I played one of the courses in like 2.5 hours. 2018, actually, I know because it was right before we went on a trip for our first anniversary. So it was early July of 2018. I played in like 2.5 hours. I was the first guy off. It was, I don't know if you can even do that anymore, but that's kind of the Pine Hills is not calling me to come back, and I think that means something. I'd rather go play Crosswinds a second time and see it and check it out and play all 27 holes there. I think the one strike against Crosswinds, which is nothing to do with the golf course, but with 27 holes, you don't play a set 18. They kind of send you out depending on what the busyness of the place is. At least in the experience I had in 2021, where you don't really get to kind of pick where you're going. You're at the whim of the pro shop and where they want to send people out, which is kind of too bad. I know Bayberry Hills just kind of created their 18-hole championship course, and then they've got their links course as well. So when you show up, you're playing their 18 holes. I think they used to be red, black, and blue. I believe are the colors, and now it's a championship course, and I think the links course. I've never played the links. That's the 9 I've got to go back and play. But Crosswinds, outstanding value, very, very good conditions, strong golf, really good land. You're playing over and around kind of that typical Plymouth Hills area that you see at Atlantic and at Pine Hills and at Waverly. So go play Crosswinds. If you're going to play Crosswinds, sign up for our event to meet some new people. Like I said before, it's the same setup as Butterbrook. $150 to play. Get a partner. Fork over $300 between the two of you. We got good prizes. You'll meet some people. You'll play some golf. It's on Thursday, July 18th. Let's go to the Cape. We'll just keep going south. We'll head over the bridges and go to Cape Cod. So I haven't played, again, looking at my map, I have not played a lot of golf in Cape Cod, on Cape Cod. And I'm not quite sure why. It's just, golf is, right now, I've made a lot of day trips. And so getting out to the Cape, I want to make it worth my while. I think 2 of my trips down there have been 36-hole days. I played Bass River and Bayberry Hills in a day. I played both captain's courses in a day. I played Brookside and that was early in the season. Probably the easiest trip. You're right over the Bourne Bridge, and you're playing golf. And then Cape Cod Country Club I've played a few times in a couple of events, and tacked it on with a trip to Cotuit for the Crocker. So those are all the courses I've played on the Cape. I've played both Captains. I've played Bass River. I've played Bayberry's 18 holes. I've played Cape Cod Country Club. So not a big selection. I've talked about a bunch of these golf courses in different places, and I thought giving Captain Starboard a little bit of shine here would be a good idea. And partly because I've talked about Cape Cod Country Club a bunch. Great, fun golf course. I like it. There's some stuff about Cape Cod that can rub you the wrong way. It doesn't finish particularly strong. The whole ownership trying to unload it during COVID and turn it into a solar field. There's some stuff going on at Cape Cod. But I played Captains, both of them in a day, in a Boston Golf and Social event. Those are also very fun. We played kind of right around the solstice. Tom Coyne was there, which was very cool. He was playing in the group behind us for the first round where we played Port. Don't like Port as much as I like Starboard. And Starboard just had a little bit more character, not as many funky holes. The land moved a little bit more. There was some quirk to it. I found the closing stretch really strong. And I think it just overall was a more enjoyable course, and playing them back to back was kind of a nice way to compare. I don't love trying to compare all the time, but when you play two places that are owned by the same people, and you can go make tee times at either one of them, if you have the option, I would put the Starboard. Starboard typically hosts some qualifying events. I believe the U.S. Junior AM qualifier has been there. It might be there this year. There's so it packs a little bit more of a punch than the Port, and the Port also has one of the worst holes I've played. Par 5. It might be the 8th hole, as I'm thinking off the top of my head, but just a really, really horrendous hole. But Starboard is good. They've got a quirky hole with a tree in the middle of the fairway, but it's not like I kind of liked it. It was done properly, and just overall a pretty good golf course, good closing stretch, good greens. The par 3s are pretty solid, and that's what I would send you out there. Go play the Captain Starboard course this summer. If you want to play both, you absolutely can. It's a kind of a nice day. The tee boxes are right there. You're not driving anywhere. It's very much like Pine Hills in that respect. You can kind of have a home base and go play 36 holes a day in the day and Brewster. So that's a good one. If you don't want to go that far down the Cape, you could play Cape Cod Country Club. You could play Brookside. You could play Bayberry, or you could play Bass River. Those are the ones I played. I liked, frankly, I liked all of them. If I could power rank them, which would be a good episode, I think I would probably at the bottom. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to move on. I'm not going to talk shit about a golf course or power rank them off the top of my head. So, Cape Cod, go play Captains, the Starboard course. Western Mass. I know what you're thinking. He's going to talk about Taconic again. I'm not going to talk about Taconic. Taconic is an expensive choice, and I thought I'm just going to tell people I need to play more golf in Western Mass, like a ton more golf, because my map is basically devoid of any real golf from Worcester through the border of New York, aside from Wabika, Taconic, Great Horse, and Elmcrest. And I would really never recommend anyone go play Elmcrest unless you're looking for the most strange, unique experience. I believe it's closed right now anyways. No idea what the future of that place holds. Completely odd experience going and playing there. Great Horse is obviously private. If you can play there, don't turn down an invite. It's a solid spot. Very, very good. It'll kick your ass, and you'll have a blast doing it because it's fun. The vibe is great there, and the energy is at the clubhouse. Food is good. All that good stuff. But I'm just going to throw Wabika out there. I've thrown it out there before, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about it. and it's just a solid choice out in the Williamstown area. I talked about it last week in my weekend trip podcast as a place to go play on top of Taconic. Good golf course, good greens, good scenery. You could go play it in the fall. You could go play it and then play Crump and Fox on the way home if you drive through that way. There's a bunch of places you could kind of stop on the way out or on the way back if you wanted to make a little trip of it. But Wabika in Western Mass, certainly go and check out that golf course. For me, it's a long drive. For some folks, it is not a long drive if you live in Central or Western Mass. So Wabika is my choice there in Williamstown, Mass. And then north of the city, another, obviously, like I said with the South, another place that I've played a bunch of golf. There's also a lot of places that I haven't played yet up in that area. But as far as public golf and as far as a place I haven't talked about, again, I'm trying to avoid just repeating myself. I'm very much looking forward to, in the next few weeks, finally getting back out on a golf course and playing new golf courses and having some new places to share with all of you here and on my newsletter and on my Instagram and all the places that I post about stuff. But one place that I have not talked about that I liked, and I think people should go check out is Trollbrook. Trollbrook is a pretty solid option if you live kind of north, if you live in New Hampshire as well. It just has a bunch of really good holes, especially on the back nine. I found myself charmed by really like holes 10 through 15 are outstanding, and particularly holes 12, 13, 14, and 15 are really good. You're playing along the Merrimack River, and I wish there was some spots where you could, like I've said with Bass River and some of these other golf courses, you're kind of, the trees are protecting you from some of the views that you might get while you're out there. But Trollbrook, it has a few holes that are wonky, a few hard elbow dog legs where you've got to really be accurate and kind of have a sense of what you want to hit off a tee so you don't go screaming through a dog leg or come up too short and you're kind of trying to hit a big curvy approach shot to avoid trees that are overhanging the near part of the dog leg. So there is a little sense of playing there a few times. You can kind of get a groove and find your way around it and figure out what you want to hit off tees. The first hole is hyper strange. I remember, I think I hit an 8-iron off the tee because it's such a short little hit to get to the dog leg to then see going in. And I think I might have had a 6-iron into the green. So, that's good. Once you get through that first hole and a few on the front, that are like that, and then a few of the closers, some people like that type of golf. And it didn't really turn me off to the place. I would love to go back and play it again. Mainly because some of the other holes, 2 is a really good par 5 that kind of rolls you downhill. 3, you come back up the hill that you played. You played down on the second hole. The third hole comes back up with a really elevated green, very hard hole. 2 good shots to just get it on the green and try to make a par. So there's and then like I said, 10 through 15, you kind of take a long walk from 9 green to 10 tee, and the 10th hole kind of you play down and then straight back uphill to the green, and then 11 you play downhill to the green. It's just a par 3, but you're hitting over water. 12 is a really good par 5, one of my kind of top holes that I've played. It's not terribly long, but the slope of it and the kind of the rolling movement is really good. So go play Trollbrook. It's not terribly far from the city. It's you can get there pretty quickly. You just need to head up to Tewksbury. So it's a 35-minute drive on a good day from the city. And I know I talk about living in the city because that's where I live. But if you live anywhere north of Boston or even kind of Metro West, Tewksbury is not too far. You're just hopping on 495 and heading up north. So that is kind of the last region And the last golf course, if I could, give you some other places north, I would point you to Cape Ann. I love Cape Ann. It's a 9-holer. I also just tried to keep this to 18-hole golf courses, but Cape Ann is also very good. I've talked about it a bunch of times. Just a beautiful place to go play golf. Just make sure you check their website to make sure that their greenheads are not eating people alive out there. But you can definitely play some really good golf and loop it twice and really enjoy it. So Cape Ann would be, my honorable mention. I've talked about it a bunch. It's one of my favorites, and you should go play it. Whether you live near Essex or not, it is worth the drive, and just spending a day in Essex is an excellent way to spend a summer day, early spring day, late spring day, whenever. Just check on the greenheads. Let's run through all of these one last time. Get out your pens, write them down. In the Metro West, go play Butterbrook. Central Mass, go play Kettlebrook. In the city, go play George Wright. South of the city, go check out Crosswinds. On Cape Cod, go to Brewster and play Captain's Starboard. Western Mass, go play Wabika in Williamstown. I know I have many more places to play in Western Mass. I'm looking forward to having some new places to talk about very soon. And finally, north of the city, go and check out Trollbrook. That is the list. I hope many of you go and find some new places to play this summer. And in the comments, or shoot me a DM or write me an email with some of the spots that you particularly like in each of these regions. If I haven't played them, I might move them to the top of my list. Thanks, as always, for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for rating and reviewing and your just general support, making it all the way through this and any of my other podcasts and videos. Until next time, hit 'em straight.